prayer today is, thank you, God, for all the blessings to me and my family, for the strength you give me each day, and for all the people around me who make life more meaningful. Amen. Gary, will start us out?
For financials on April 19th, cash transfers included, amongst others, from the general fund to community development and Metzenbaum for the first quarter 2022, interest transfer from the general fund to the Board of DD for gas well proceeds from January and February 2022, and for general fund to Court Technologies for a portion of their 2022 funding. Encumbrances included, amongst others, contract PO from the Commissioner's Office to Corsa for the 2022 property and liability insurance premium, and a travel PO from the Treasurer's Office to attend the County Treasurers Association of Ohio 2022 Spring Conference. Vouchers included, amongst others, $51,218 from the Auditor's Office to Integrity Appraisal Services for reveal and new construction. Reeval, okay, sorry. For reeval and new construction property valuations assistance, $65,102.75 from the Commissioners to Ohio State University for the county's second quarter 2022 program support payment, $50,000 from the Maintenance Office to CMRS for additional postage for the mailing machine, and $15 from the Probate Court to Samuel Matthews for a travel-related expense paid by the auditor on the protest due to the service dates being prior to the encumbrance dates. Okay. And on April 20th, for financials, approved a supplemental appropriation for the Board of Elections and the elections revenue funds, payroll accounts to pay employees for work being done for hiring and training temporary staff for data entry, voting machine programming, reprogramming, testing, and training costs incurred. Training costs, ensuring accurate voter rolls, poll worker recruitment, and training and reviewing and improving processes to promote efficiency for the primary elections.
Okay. Well, did they determine there's going to be a second primary and when? Or no?
The second primary, to my knowledge, has not been determined yet,
No.
because the districts are still in flux
Okay.
with regards to the courts.
Yeah, okay. So I'm
The
there.
last I heard, I think it was like
Any chance anybody
August.
can speak a little louder? It's not able to hear you in the back.
Is there going to be additional funding for that?
I do not know. I have not talked to the Board of Elections on that yet.
Okay, okay.
And then on April 14th, I approved for transit the hiring of Stephen Corso to the position of part-time transit driver to be effective April 18th, 2022 at the rate of $14.83 per hour with a one-year probationary period. This offer of employment is contingent upon the successful completion of the required pre-employment conditions. And additionally, for transit, approved hiring Christopher Black to the position of part-time transit driver to be effective May 9th, 2022 at the rate of $15.36 per hour, grade 6, step 2, with a one-year probationary period. This offer of employment is contingent upon the successful completion of the required pre-employment conditions. And on April 18th, for Department of Water Resources, I approved an unpaid medical leave of absence for Rob Edmonds in accordance with the union contract for the period April 23rd, 2022 through May 22nd, 2022, and accepted the resignation of Bernard Pilarczyk as Farland Wastewater Treatment Plant Supervisor to be effective April 26th, 2022.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. Because that takes care of 1 and 2. And item number 3, the Commissioner's Office is requesting the Board approve and execute the minutes for the meeting of March 22nd, 2022.
So moved. Second.
Mr. Spiller, Mr. Lund?
Yes.
Mr. DeWart?
Yes.
The next item, we need to sign this resolution.
You want to read that?
The Commissioner's Office is requesting the Board approve scheduling a special meeting to be held on Wednesday, April 27, 2022 at 10:30 a.m. and to further approve and execute resolution number 22-048 establishing the location of the April 27, 2022 special meeting of the Board of County Commissioners as the County Police Court, 100 Short Court Street on the front courthouse steps in Shardon, Ohio.
Okay, so that's at 10:30, right?
Yes.
Not
Yeah.
9:30?
Sorry, yeah.
Okay, just want to make sure.
So moved.
Second?
Mr. Spiller?
Aye.
Mr.
Aye.
Lund? Mr. DeWart?
Yes. Good morning.
Number 5 on our agenda, the Commissioner's Office is requesting the Board to approve and authorize the President of the Board to execute the unemployment compensation service agency agreement between Central Claims Management Services Incorporated and Geauga County for the period of May 1st, 2022 through April 30th, 2023, an amount of $1,205.
So moved. Second?
Commissioner Spillier.
Aye.
Commissioner Lennon.
Yes.
Commissioner DeWort.
Yes.
And number 6, we are requesting to approve the workers' compensation service agreement between Central Claims Management Incorporated and Geauga County for the periods of May 1st, 2022 to April 30th, 2023, in the amount of $9,300.
Okay. Second?
Commissioner Spillier. Commissioner Lennon.
Yes.
Commissioner DeWort.
Yes.
Moving right along.
All right.
Number 7, the Commissioner's Office is requesting the Board to approve and execute the agreement to Smooth Rider LLC to provide 150 20-ounce smoothies via the Smooth Rider Smoothie Food Truck during our Geauga County Employee Health and Wellness Expo on May 5th, 2022, in an amount not to exceed $1,200. This will be paid for with our wellness funds.
Okay, good.
Good. So moved. Second?
Commissioner Spillier.
Aye.
Commissioner Lennon.
Aye.
Commissioner DeWort.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Have a good day.
Good morning, Adrian.
Good morning. Okay, today's financials include a cash transfer from the general fund to transit for their 2022 operations commitment from the general fund. Now, we did increase this $17,107 from the $53,045 that it was before. Doing some research, the last time this was adjusted was back in 2009.
Okay.
And this covers the whole year, the general fund's support of the transit system. So Joanna Santilli asked that we go ahead and transfer that to her.
Okay.
Okay. Very good.
Make that motion.
Second?
Oh, you want me to finish the rest of
Okay,
the?
good.
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, yeah.
Among the encumbrances are a contract PO from the Commissioner's Office to Sedgwick Claims Management Services for 1 year of workers' comp and unemployment administrative assistance, a travel PO from the Common Police Court to attend the Ohio Chief Probation Officers Association Quarterly Training Conference, a then and now from Emergency Services to Inspiron Logistics LLC for the Geauga County EMA Mass Notification System not previously encumbered. Among the vouchers are $104,105 from the Commissioner's Office to Ravenwood for the second quarter commitment to youth center operations, $360,535 from the Commissioner's Office to Corsa for the 2022 property and liability insurance premium. This is up $9,095 from last year, and $42,103.50 from Water Resources to Glaus, Pyle, Schomer, Burns, and DeHaven Incorporated for services related to the Shardon Township wastewater treatment plant and sewer collection system. And there are 2 revenue certifications, one from Aging in their operating fund for an unbudgeted insurance reimbursement being received in 2022, and from Community Development in their block grant fund for additional revenue to be received this year as well.
I'll make that motion.
A second?
Commissioner Spillier.
Aye.
Commissioner Lennon.
Yes.
Commissioner DeWort.
Yes.
Thanks, Adrian.
Thank you, Adrian.
Good morning, Nick.
Good morning. Nick, how are you?
Good, yourself?
Good, good.
Item 9 on the agenda is requesting the board approve and execute the unit price contract with Chagrin Valley Paving for the asphalt resurfacing of Jug Street, sections F through G in Burton and Troy Townships in the amount of $637,759 even. We've already awarded it, this is just signing the contract.
Good.
So moved.
Second?
Commissioner Spillier.
Aye.
Commissioner Lennon.
Aye.
Commissioner DeWort.
Yes.
Item 10 on the agenda is requesting the board approve and execute the unit price contract with Chagrin Valley Paving for the asphalt resurfacing of Chagrin Road, CH9 Section A in Bainbridge Township in the amount of $374,025.80. Again, this has already been awarded, this is just signing the contract.
I'll make the motion.
Second that.
Yeah.
Commissioner Spillier.
Aye.
Commissioner Lennon.
Yes.
Commissioner DeWort.
Yes.
Item 11 on the agenda is requesting the board award the bid to Grade Line Incorporated for the Rolling Brook Drive Bridge, structure 578-A-00.030-2022 in Bainbridge Township in the amount of $158,959 as they represented the lowest and best bid. This project is in the Bainbrook development. They're off of 306 there in Bainbridge Township.
So moved. Second.
Commissioner Spudler.
Aye.
Commissioner Lennon.
Aye.
Commissioner DeWort.
Yes.
Item 12 on the agenda is requesting the board reject all bids that we received for the application of the polyester pavement marking project, our annual project, in accordance with ORC 153.12A, as all bids were in excess of the allowable 10% above the engineer's estimate. They actually came in at 17% over. We received one bid, which is the only one we get to, so.
Very good. So moved. Second.
Commissioner Spudler.
Aye.
Commissioner Lennon.
Yes.
Commissioner DeWort.
Yes.
And item 13 is requesting the board approve and execute resolution 22-50 to order the application of polyester pavement markings to various roads in Geauga County year 2022. This is the rebid. The resolution also requests the board approve and execute the bid specification cover page for the same. Further, the resolution sets a bid opening on May 25th, 2022 at 2 p.m. Notice of this bid opening will be advertised on May 5th, 2022 and on the county website. So we revisited, looked at what the market is doing, looked at our project and revised it and putting it back up so we can make sure we get it
The
straight.
plant's open.
Asphalt plants are open,
Yeah.
but with the striping, materials are, we started to hear that they were getting shortages, but now we're saying maybe come up back up at least with the striping materials.
Yeah. Are there supply chain issues with the plants, with the mix and that they put in there, the chemicals and stuff? No?
That we're hearing.
No.
You know, everything we're hearing is just fuel costs at that time were
High.
causing everything, you know, and striping is primarily, you know, for every gallon of paint, it's miles and miles of driving, so.
Yeah.
So the cost increase in labor, so.
Okay. So moved. Second.
Commissioner Spudler.
Aye.
Commissioner
Yes.
Lennon. Commissioner DeWort.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for coming in.
Good morning.
Morning. We're here for the VAWA grant. This is the Violence Against Women.
Yeah.
Rob Deputy Taylor takes care of all the sex crimes investigations and things like that, so.
Very good.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Commissioner Spudler.
Aye.
Commissioner Lennon.
Yes.
Commissioner DeWort.
Yes.
Thank you, sir.
Have a great day.
Appreciate it.
Good morning.
Good
Good
morning.
morning, Gina.
Hi. All right. The Department of Development, Community and Economic is requesting the board approve and execute the agreement to perform warranty work with the Ohio Paving and Construction Company, Incorporated for the Geauga County Agricultural Society Fairgrounds paving project as part of the CDBG under grant agreement B-F-19-1AZ with the work to be completed by June 30th. So, Commissioner DeWort, I know you were involved in that project, and we're just trying to tie that up.
Yeah, there
at
was
this
some
point. Quality.
things that weren't quite right, and I went out there and noticed it and worked with the engineer's office so this.
This'll
we'd
wrap it up.
finish it up, yeah.
Correct.
Thank you.
Correct. You bet.
Make that motion.
Second.
Commissioner Spudler.
Aye.
Commissioner Lennon.
Yes.
Commissioner DeWort.
Yes.
And while Gina's here, if I may, talk with each of you individually before the meeting here. Sorry. While Gina's here, I want to talk to each of the three of you individually before the meeting. Gina had put in her application to be the new director of the Community Economic Development Department. My recommendation is for the board to appoint her to that position. I think she will do an excellent job and bring some stability to that department.
Absolutely. Very good.
Jerry, thank you.
Yeah. Very good.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Super excited for the opportunity.
Need a motion?
I'm sorry, that would be effective April 24th at the grade E15, step 2, $31.39 per
And
hour.
replacing Marty, who
That would
just
be
retired.
replacing Marty's position,
Yeah,
yes.
very good. Okay.
I make that a motion.
Second.
Commissioner Spudler.
Aye.
Commissioner Lennon.
Yes.
Commissioner DeWort.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
Thank you very
Good
much.
work. Thank you.
Appreciate it.
And then-
Excited.
Emergency Management Services.
Hi, Red. portion on the agenda is I need you, or I'm requesting you to approve the contract with Inflow Logistics, which does our mass notification for countywide emergencies. It's, we've been doing it for 11 years now, split between us, LEPC, and the sheriff's office. I'll make that motion.
Second.
Commissioner Spudler?
Aye.
Commissioner Lennon?
Yes.
Mr. Moore?
Yes.
Yep, thank you, Jerry. Have a good day.
This is the 26th.
Morning.
Good morning. All right, transit, requesting the board to approve and execute resolution 22-051 authorizing the submittal of proposal application for the Ohio Department of Transportation grants. Normally, we do a grant through the state, the capital maintenance, the operating, the projects, and everything is separate grants, and I ask you guys to apply for all of them. This year, what they're doing is one full grant. We apply for everything we want, and then they're going to divvy up what money they have in which pot to give it to us. So I'm not asking for individual grants, I'm asking for one application, and then however they do when we sign them, but it's just one application this year instead of 4 or 5
Multiple.
applications.
Okay.
Sounds good. I'll
Very
make
good.
that motion.
Second.
Commissioner Spudler?
Aye.
Commissioner Lennon?
Yes.
Commissioner DeWort?
Yes.
Thank you very much, guys.
Thank you. Thank you.
I should have went the other way. Flow of traffic's wrong.
Good morning.
Good morning, Steve.
Water Resources has 5 items for this morning. The first item, we're requesting the board approve and authorize the president to execute the Ohio Water Development Authority acknowledgement of payment commencement for the Auburn Corners wastewater treatment plant expansion in Troy Hills. So it's the documentation that we're starting to repay a major loan project. So that's it.
Okay, I'll make that motion.
Second.
Commissioner Spudler?
Aye.
Commissioner Lennon?
Yes.
Commissioner DeWort?
Yes.
Next one, we're requesting the board approve and authorize the president of the board to execute the OWDA fund payment request number 5 for HDR Engineering Incorporated for the McFarland wastewater treatment plant renovation upgrade project in the amount of $9,563.41.
So moved.
Second.
Commissioner Spudler?
Aye.
Commissioner Lennon?
Yes.
Commissioner DeWort?
Yes.
Our third item, Water Resource requesting the board approve and authorize the president to execute partial payment number 1 for Woodford Excavating LLC for the Bainbridge water line extension project, the OWDA Authority Contractor's Estimate number 1, and the OWDA fund payment request number 1 in the amount of $309,113.38. And that's for the piping that has been delivered to the project. So,
Is that about 1/3 of the total cost?
yeah.
That's just the pipe.
It's pipe and some of the accoutrements to connect the pipe. We were lucky.
Yeah. Very good.
Now delivery is out till next year for pipe, ductile iron pipe.
Wow.
Very
moved.
expensive. Yeah. Second.
Commissioner Spudler?
Aye.
Commissioner Lennon?
Yes.
Commissioner DeWort?
Yes.
And we're requesting the board grant permission to advertise for the position of electrician 1, number 2314, internally for a period of 5 days. If no qualified candidate is found, then externally until the position is filled. And it's an existing position.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Commissioner Spudler?
Aye.
Commissioner Lennon?
Yes.
Commissioner DeWort?
Yes.
And then my last item, the department is requesting the board approve and authorize the president of the board to execute OWDA cooperative agreement for refinancing of state water project or wastewater project for the USDA revenue bond loan 92-11 for the Parkman wastewater treatment plant project. And refinancing will take us from 5.5% to below 3%. They won't finalize the final percentage until paperwork's done, of course.
Very good.
How old is that plant?
In Parkman?
Yes.
That was put in 2006.
Yeah, 14 years.
It was the very first project I worked on when I came to the county.
And it's a vacuum system?
Yes.
Mhm. And that's it for us today.
Okay.
Great.
I have a motion.
Second.
Commissioner Spudler?
Aye.
Commissioner Lennon?
Yes.
Commissioner DeWort?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, Steve.
Bye, Steve.
Please sign. Email us this thing.
The next item deals with the Shardon Township project. I had a discussion with the prosecutor's office, with the prosecutor, and he stated clearly that the ARPA funds could not be utilized to pay off or pay down the assessment costs because it would be paying off a loan, and that is unequivocally denied within the ARPA rules. So we are looking to extend the time frame again on the assessments, to do that for a couple weeks to give opportunity for the property owners who may wish to pay off their assessment. We've actually had 2 or 3 people contact us about making those payments to pay them off before the assessments go on the property. So that would be extending it for 14 days, and we are looking at having a meeting with the residents next week in the evening, as has been previously requested.
Okay.
And this would be extending the time frame for 14 days.
And where's that gonna be?
We would look to have it either, excuse me, either at Building 8 if it's available, whereas where we've had the other meetings. If we're unable to do that, we'll talk with the township about utilizing their facility.
Okay. Okay, so this is a 14-day extension.
Correct. We've already extended it the original 30 days. This is extending it another 14.
Very good, okay.
So moved.
Second?
Commissioner Spudler.
Aye.
Commissioner Lennon.
Yes.
Commissioner DeBoer.
Yes. 25.
Okay, excuse me, the next item has to deal with the ARPA funds also. One of the things in the treasury rules was that there was you could take a loss of revenue, but you would have to go through a large calculation process. When the treasury issued the final rules, one of the things that they had in there was, rather than going through that whole loss of revenue calculation, you could take a standard $10 million or the maximum of the amount you were getting, whichever one was less. You would take that $10 million as a standard deduction for your lost revenue to be utilized for government purposes. So this is a resolution authorizing the county to take that standard allowance of $10 million. Excuse me, within that, this is something that came up recently that we had to do it now because it must, based on the treasury, it must be reported on the April 30th report that we're taking it. If we don't, then we'd have to go through the whole process.
And
of doing that
what
calculation.
report?
It's the annual reports that you have to submit to the treasury. on your ARPA usage.
And how does that get reported?
That is reported, the auditor's office has been doing those
Okay,
reports. So
okay.
It has to be the one who made the request for the funds is the ones who do the reports.
I see, okay.
Make that motion.
Second?
Commissioner Spudler.
Aye.
Commissioner Lennon.
Yes.
Commissioner DeBoer.
Yes.
Excuse me, the next item regards the agreement between the commissioners and then Design Architecture for the Phase 2 portion of our buildings projects. And this would be for them to contract in the amount of $1,050,000 for them to do preliminary design work as well as other work for existing county buildings, either additions, construction, or such.
So this is falling in line with our capital improvement project fund and
Yes.
moving forward and looking at
Moving forward, trying to look at-
existing buildings as well as
That is-
potentially any new.
That is correct.
Okay,
This is phase 2.
So
phase 2, okay. Second?
Commissioner Spudler. Aye. Commissioner Lennon.
Yes.
Commissioner DeBoer.
Yes.
Okay, and then excuse me, the next item is change order number 13, increasing the contract with Donley's by $23,685, and this has to deal with the downspouts from the three-sided to the four-sided.
So moved.
Second, but this is, explain that again?
This was adding the cap over the downspout
Oh,
to
okay.
be the four-sided instead of the three-sided as was originally bid.
Okay, okay. Second,
Commissioner Spudler.
Aye.
Commissioner Lennon.
yes.
Commissioner DeBoer.
Yes.
Number 27, Jerry, is the change order number 14.
Change it. Next one is change order number 14 in the amount of $25,420. And this has to do with adjustments to the cabling and systems for ADP within the building.
So moved.
Second,
Commissioner Spudler.
Aye.
Commissioner Lennon.
yes.
Commissioner DeBoer.
Yes.
And then the final item on the agenda is the lease agreement between the county and the state of Ohio Department of Public Safety. This would be for the DMV in the new building. The amount is $16 per square foot for a total cost per year in the amount of $31,600. And it has unlimited 2-year renewal options to continue.
Okay.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Commissioner Spudler.
Aye.
Commissioner Lennon.
Aye.
Commissioner DeBoer.
Yes.
So tomorrow morning, we're meeting at 10:30, correct?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
On the courthouse.
Okay. And,
We have a couple of additions.
okay.
The NeoCap one.
Yes. I had sent you all an email about the NeoCap board. It was noted appointments that Marna Drum had resigned or retired from her position on the NeoCap board, and so we would need to fill out the remainder of her term, which is through November 9th of this year. So there was 2 applications that were sent to you. One was a Michael Murphy and the other one was a Barbara Dixon for your consideration to appoint to that board. I'm not sure who you would like to appoint, but it needs to be done by resolution. I have prepared both in anticipation. I'm not sure whoever it is that you choose, but this is to the Northeast Ohio Community Alternative Program NeoCap Facility Governing Board to fill the unexpired term of Ms. Drum from May 1st of '22 through November 9th of '22.
What, did the director in NeoCap make any recommendations or anything?
Based off of the conversation that I had with him yesterday, and it was noted that Trumbull County appointed Mr. Murphy. Lake County did Ms. Dixon, and he was not quite sure if they just missed the first request
Okay.
of Mr. Murphy, so he was going to follow up with Lake County. Based on the resumes and the qualifications, he would actually lean towards Mr. Murphy, but
Okay.
the appointment is up to you.
Okay. I'll make a motion to appoint Mr. Murphy.
Second.
Commissioner Spiller?
Aye.
Commissioner Lennon?
Yes.
Commissioner DeBoer?
Yes, because he has the most qualifications for this particular position.
So that is that, trustee Shardon, and we cross this out. And then I will let Mr. Jones know that the appointment is made and send out the resolution to the courts and to the other counties.
Okay.
Jerry. Moving.
Oh, yes, we've been going back and forth. You guys approved the bid from the moving company a couple weeks ago. We've been going back and forth with us, them, and the attorneys. So we're still trying to finalize the contract. But since we're not gonna have session next Tuesday, I don't wanna wait until May 10th, once we get this finalized, so we can start that moving process, since we're looking to move it, possibly as early as the end of May.
Wow.
And beginning the middle of June. So if I could get the board's authorization for me to sign the contract with the moving company.
If they laid out a game plan how that's gonna look and what starts first and all that? Or?
That's part of the, once we get the contract together, then we'll
okay.
be having those discussions.
Okay, okay.
Job and Family Services is one of the first departments going into the new building, correct?
It's gonna depend on what the timing is.
Okay.
If we were able to go towards the end of May, which right now it looks like it may be more in the middle of June.
Mhm.
If we go the end of May, we'll go the traditional top-down route. But if it's if it gets pushed back to the middle of June, we'll probably do JFS first to get them out of the building with it.
Yeah, because University Hospital's
University
just
Hospitals,
chomping
yeah.
at the bit to get into that
Yes,
building.
yeah.
Yeah, they've been patiently waiting for a couple,
Three and a half
40
years.
years. Yeah, right. Very good.
I'll make the motion.
Second.
Commissioner Spiller?
Aye.
Commissioner Lennon?
Yes.
Commissioner DeBoer?
Yes. Okay.
And then I'd make a motion for Mike Petrozzullo for the Geauga. I talked to him, actually yesterday. He's got about 4 different projects that he's been kind of lead on, and he had asked if there's any consideration to be given for him to do another term, and we haven't had any issues as far as him reporting back to us
Mm-hmm. On HUD?
for, jail housing.
Yeah. Okay, I'll second that.
Commissioner Spudler.
Aye.
Commissioner Lennon.
Yes.
Commissioner DeWart.
I did have conversation with some people, and apparently Mike's doing an okay job
Mhm.
at that position at that board. So I vote
It's-
yes.
Thanks. It's been it's difficult to get anyone even just to show up to that, historically. He's been to every single one of those meetings, and, he puts his heart and soul into it, so I appreciate that. And he's always been, very, communicates well back to us on, things that are happening there, and so I think he's doing a good job.
That's a 5-year term that will end April 4th of 27.
Okay. All right.
Okay. Is there any public comment?
I'm a little confused about the ARPA funds and loan. I did not sign any loan agreement or anything. I don't understand how the ARPA funds can't be used for our project.
The loan was taken out by the county to pay for the project. It was taken out back in 18, and one was taken out in 18, one was taken out in 19, I believe. Was the second one.
Okay.
And that was to pay for the project and bring it up to be able to put it in the ground.
Okay, then you should pay for it then. I mean.
The issue is let's be honest with this. This is one of the things I've held back. The issue is not with the county on this. The issue with this project is that the residents had failing septic systems.
I understand I understand everything that happened. I also understand that you're doing everything you can to avoid helping us financially at all. And you can even give individual households money, it says in the final rule. I read the whole thing. You have the ability to help us, and you're not.
We cannot do it to pay off assessments. We are still looking into funding to help with regards to the service connections.
According to the
And-
final rule, you can give individual homeowners funds from the ARPA funds.
That's right.
Why are you not doing that? You put us in a hole for $54,000. We have no equity in our house, and now you're saying, too bad? See ya. Am I wrong?
The system went in because of failing septic systems.
I
You
understand
would
why
have
it
been
went in.
paying-
I don't care about that. It's
And
in.
you were not $54,000 in debt.
We will be by the end
It's a
of this.
$28,000 assessment.
With the tie-in, the abatement, the fees, and the interest, it's gonna be $54,000 at the end of 30 years. You think I'm gonna reap that back in my house? Never. And you're doing everything you can to avoid helping us. Everything.
That's right.
We're doing what we can to find ways to help you. Because you don't like the answers, doesn't mean we're not helping, we're not trying
You
to.
help Legend Lakes, but not us.
Help Legend, I don't understand that.
Where's that $9 million
I don't
going to
understand that
go?
Well,
comment.
they're not paying a dime. They have
They're
tons of
not,
money.
they're not tying in right now.
What?
Right now.
Right now. They'll tie in after.
They will still pay for their costs to tie in.
Steve said they would not be. After the finance is done, then they're not gonna be required to pay.
They still have to run sewer line to their house, to their property. They still will have to pay their service bills.
Are they gonna be
Over the
paying a
years.
$28,000 assessment?
No, because they took that off with regards to what we paid for the property for the wastewater.
So the
treatment.
property's worth $200,000, you paid $70,000 for it. 4 free tie-ins. Do the math. A little small piece of land, excuse my French, $200,000, really?
It wasn't valued at 200, it was valued at their connection charge. Plus
Your
the value of
website
the
even
property.
says it's worth $33,000. The assessment, whatchamacallit on it.
So, thank you.
Go ahead, Jim.
So, you granted a special meeting for the purpose of talking about this?
we will have a meeting, we're having a meeting, trying to schedule a meeting for next week.
Okay. To address the exact
Provide
same
the
things that we're talking
information.
about here, so we don't have to come, we can kind of air all this out in terms of what the county's gonna participate in, what they're not gonna participate in, and how, the way we left it last week was that you received a text from the prosecutor's office, and you were working through that.
Right.
So, we don't know the outcome of that.
We're still working through with regards to other possibilities for helping, but with regards to the assessment, that was,
Okay, the question was whether we could use the ARPA funds, but
No.
that still hasn't been solved yet.
that was specifically for the assessment, for paying off the assessments.
Okay.
And reducing the assessments.
So was that
There's still
something-
other things out there with regards to service connections or the, you know,
Did he rule on that?
Yes,
He did?
yes.
What did he rule?
He ruled that we cannot use the ARPA funds for the assessment.
For the assessment.
Yeah,
He ruled that you can't use the ARPA
Yeah,
funds for the
yeah.
assessment.
yes,
I thought he
Okay.
ruled that the
No.
ARPA funds could not be used for the loan.
to pay back the loan, yeah.
the loan is,
Yeah.
the loan is.
That
the
loan
basis
is
for
the
the
assessment.
Okay, can you expand on like this number 24 here in your agenda? What does this mean?
Which one was 24, sorry.
That was the standard allowance.
Standard allowance was something within the ARPA rules that you could utilize ARPA funds for county purposes that if you showed a revenue loss during the time frame. That was under the original rules. The final rule issued by the Treasury stated that you didn't have to go through the big process of determining your revenue loss. You could take a standard allowance of $10 million off of the money the county was getting that could be used for government purposes.
So it's a little less stringent than what the rest of the money we use for. It's like a flat standard
It
deduction.
still has the same requirements that you can't use it for things that are clearly defined in ARPA that the monies cannot be used for. So that would bring in
So you're
paying
outside
off
of,
a loan.
outside of, sorry?
The standard allowance, the money from that still has the same requirements as the ARPA with regards to things you cannot do with it that were specifically referenced in the ARPA funding. So that would be, like, you know, paying off a loan, lowering property tax, lowering taxes, and things like that that were specifically referenced in ARPA that you can't use it for.
We're still looking into, Jim, and I'm trying to find, we're seeing if there's potential ways to help on the service line connection end of things, possibly through community economic development, being able to either through something based on income qualifications, potentially. We're also looking at seeing if there's any other grants out there, like through the USDA, potentially. Again, that's based on income. Diane Grendel's budget request is still out there waiting for results. I don't know what the odds are of that.
Is it possible that we could like air out all this? Like, I can rebut what you're saying right now, right? And I don't really want to get into it, to be honest with you.
Mhm.
I mean, it would be more productive and I think more efficient at a special meeting if we were to lay out the things that we've discovered and the things that we're hearing and back and forth, so we could kind of rebuild this communication piece and this trust piece. Because what you're saying is not what I'm getting.
What's that?
Pardon me?
I'm sorry, what is that?
What is that?
That about the ARPA money or
Well,
about
first of all,
what I just said?
First of all, the prosecutor didn't rule on the ARPA money until a couple of days ago.
Yeah, last week. Yeah.
Right, and you already told me before that the ARPA money couldn't be used. But you still had to ask for an opinion that wasn't issued yet.
No, he issued his opinion to us.
He did, but you told me before he issued his opinion that you couldn't use the ARPA money.
Right.
So this is
I
where my
mean-
disconnect is. I'm
well,
like,
I
well,
mean-
if you got an opinion in over here, and you're asking for an opinion on whether you can use the ARPA money now, and you're telling me over here, no, you can't do it. And I'm like, well, I thought
No.
you already know in your head you're not going to use the ARPA money?
Well, I mean, no, but I would say that, this was reviewed.
Honestly,
This was
I don't want to
reviewed
get on YouTube
months and
anymore
months
today.
ago.
Could
Yeah.
we go to a special meeting and
Yeah.
kind of air out the timeline of this whole thing? Because it's
Yeah.
really, it doesn't fit.
I mean, what it boils down to is our prosecutors is telling us that ARPA funds cannot be used for this specific project.
Even the $10 million.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, can we get the opinion, or is that
I mean,
private?
you can talk to the prosecutor, I guess. I mean, I don't know,
I mean, where is it? Is it written, the opinion?
No.
It was discussions that the prosecutor had with myself, and I assume with the
Individual commissioners.
All right. So in my head, you know, the way, I don't know if you guys are thinking this way or not. So ARPA money is just, to your point, is just, you don't want to use the ARPA money or find an avenue to find. I think there's an opportunity in section 4.7, bullet point 4. I read it myself, but apparently somebody somewhere along the way is going to find a way that it's going to be used for to repay a loan, and that you can't do it, right? Although, once again, there's $3 million of appropriation for Shardon wastewater treatment plant for 2022, which is clearly after March 3rd. But I don't know what that's for. And thirdly, you know what? Okay, you're not going to use ARPA. Are you going to participate at all? At all in this at all? And if you're not, okay, fine. There's got to be a better way going forward. Must be like, you got to be like putting a process in place. What you do now is going to happen 5 years from now. What we're getting today is what didn't happen 5 years ago. I got to ask you to do some work, please. Or at this special meeting, can we talk about these things going forward? And if they're, Mr. Len, please, I know you're working on things. You keep telling me that you're working on things. This is the kind of stuff that I don't really want to have in this open forum right now. And I believe you.
Yeah.
I believe you are. Can I see the letter? Can I see what you got? Can you put a resolution together? Can you put something on paper?
Right. I mean, the frustration you are expressing, I think, is felt by us and past commissioners that have dealt with this and past water resources. The way the mandate has come down from the Ohio EPA ordering the county to build this system. This was not an option that the county wanted to do. I know past commissioners prior to me tried to fight this mandate. Current commissioners have, state representatives tried to find alternative funding, grant sources to help offset this project. I agree with you. The way they want to come in and hammer you over the head and just say, here, everybody, whether you like it or not or can afford it or not, this is the way it's going to be. I agree, something's got to change. Unfortunately, the county commissioners, I believe, and how I feel, are kind of stuck in the middle on this thing. We're getting pulled or banged from both ends here, and I agree, something's got to change. There's got to be some type of financial assistance if they're going to order you into a multi-million-dollar project.
Besides a loan for multiple years.
Yeah.
I'll tell you the other thing that's sticking in our craw.
Yeah.
I'll tell you the other thing that's sticking in our craw. We think that 50,000 gallons a day is a little bit much. We think that plant is oversized for future expansion. And there's a lot of word on the street about that. I don't know how true it is. Honestly, I don't. I have no evidence of that. However, there's some transactions that have gone on that lead to something else, what Linda just stated, which was, why, if you sold the property in order to put the plant on it, that is overkill, and we're paying $5 million for it, and then somebody else comes in and taps in and doesn't have to be part of that, how does that sit? That doesn't fit. That's the word on the street. You guys got to solve that, because that's what's spinning around. And if you could solve that at the special meeting, that would be phenomenal. That would be phenomenal.
If you can figure out a way to solve the idea that rumors get passed around, please let me know.
Okay.
We have a wastewater treatment plant in Parkman that's been operable. We talked about it earlier. It's been operable for 16 years. There are still rumors that go around Parkman 16 years later that we're not actually operating that plant. We're hauling all the waste to other plants. And that's just understand. Standard design for a wastewater treatment plant is 400 gallons a day per household.
400 gallons a day per household.
So, with 113 households, you get 40-some thousand gallons a day. Treatment plants are designed in 10,000 gallon increments. That's why that's the reason for the 50,000.
All right. And so once again, what is your purpose at the special meeting?
It would be to explain to all the residents who wish to show up where we're at with the process, what's going on, and what, if anything, we're able to do to help.
Will the commissioners be there?
That if you guys are going to all attend, then schedule.
I'll be there.
All right, it's not a commissioners' meeting, though. It's just an informational meeting for the residents? Is that correct?
It would be
Well, a lot of resources will be
informational
putting it
meeting.
on.
All right, but it's not a meeting where anybody can make a decision
Correct.
or vote on it. Thank you.
So the special meeting is just to tell us what you've been telling us all along.
To provide all the information on the project. Just the same thing, basically the same thing the last special meeting was for until it was hijacked in this discussion about ARPA.
Yeah, so, I'm sorry, Colin. So, just lastly, so, you know, I can't help but think, if you haven't come up with something already, then what's this special meeting gonna do?
It's going to provide the information that everybody needs to understand on what's going on.
So that you can't use the ARPA money?
It was requested by the residents in previous meetings, and we said we would have an evening meeting, so the residents who could not make it to these meetings would be able to given the information.
Okay, so our request is this, right? It's been like this the whole time, right? That ARPA money is available, okay, that's the request, right? That you take a look at this $1.6 million loan that you gave us, which is built into the fees, and we want the fees to be based on usage and not just a blanket cost, right? The interest of $8,000 over the cost of the loan, $28,000 if you decide to finance it, should be removed. Your tie-in costs, which are going to go through the roof right now, have to be addressed. Have to be addressed. And then your kick of the application fee.
Yep.
Those things, if you can address those things one by one, like yes, no, I can't do anything, and please don't waste our time. If you, on the surface, there's 3 votes here. If you say, forget it, we're not doing anything, just forget it. Just forget it. Send us the bill, and we'll figure out if we're going to pay it or not. Honestly.
We got the checkbook.
Honestly. I mean, if we can't meet some of those, like, meet us a little bit, right? Meet us a little bit. And all that adds up to $54,000, Jerry.
And wait, and then for the 40% of the residents that have already upgraded their septic systems, that now have to crush those updated septic systems,
Yeah.
you're looking at $70,000.
Effective.
Total loss.
Like, yeah. So
that's why
it drains the equity
I
out of
get
the properties. It does. It drains the equity out of the properties. It's just, it's gonna be, it's tough. We're just asking you to participate. And listen, if you say forget it, participate going forward, because you can't do this going forward. You gotta come up with something better. And you gotta address the Legend Lake thing. You gotta address whether that system is overkill for what we need. I'll pay for what I need. Why would I pay more? You wouldn't do that
That's
either.
the first I've
And that
heard of it.
system is way overkill because there's an agreement. You already cut a deal for the corner on the property. You just said that just now. You already just cut a deal based on four assessments, $28,000. That was the value of the property because you're going to tie 4 people in. That was the cost of the property, right?
But 4 people are tying in.
I don't know.
The only thing we're tying in is the clubhouse.
But there's 4 parcels.
There's 4 parcels, there are 4 parcels, individual platted parcels that are
How much did you pay for the property on the corner?
to be tied in.
I don't remember off the top of my head.
Again. All right.
I'm sorry.
So, in any event, this is the kind of stuff we want to talk about
I
in
don't
the
keep a lot of
special
numbers
meeting.
in my head and stuff that I can look at.
Okay, this is the kind of stuff that we want to talk about in the special meeting, and hopefully you guys could calm us down or meet us halfway or do something and put some effort into it and to continue. I still talk to Mr. Cooper. I sent him the final regs. I told him our position. I talked that he's from Joyce's office, Congressman Joyce's office. And in addition to that, Jerry Serino, he discredits what Diane Grandel's doing. He's like, there's no way that she could have put that in her budget, so that's all floating around out there.
I'm sorry, so what was that again? I didn't hear
He
you.
disagrees that Diane Grandel could have put $1.5 million into the budget.
Oh, okay.
He
Or
disagrees
make
with
the
that.
request, you mean?
Yes.
She already missed the deadline.
Oh.
Yeah. So we got all this stuff spinning, and we just want a voice to be heard with all the citizens.
Mhm.
And I appreciate you holding this special meeting, and I hope that the three of you can be there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just not clear on one point. You said that the ARPA can't be used for the assessment, but is there any possibility that ARPA can be used for the tie-ins and the construction of the closed systems that we have?
That's what we're still looking into.
So that's a possibility.
What
I
those
just wanted to know.
possibilities are
Yeah.
for paying for those.
Yeah,
Whether
because
it's
isn't
ARPA
the,
or other funds.
isn't the average price between $8,000 and $14,000 for tie-in per resident?
It depends on what the, what their issues are, where the location is, so. And we haven't priced those lately, and that cost.
Is Steve still here? I mean, is it possible for the residents to get some help and assistance to have a contractor bid them all? And maybe that'd be a lower price.
That is,
Oh, you're still here.
that is discussions we've been having also with regards to that, about trying to do something with, to do the service connections for everybody. The problem is, every property is different.
Right.
So it's not something you can take the overall cost and evenly divide out amongst each property.
In the back, sir.
I Googled the United States Geological Services, and the average water usage per day for the average home is 80 to 100 gallons per day. And a large part of that is for lawns and gardens and so on. What's all this extra capacity for? Where did you come up with a 400 and some gallons per residence? That's just totally absurd.
That is the engineering design standards that the EPA follows when you would approve a plant. If we did not build per those standards, the EPA would not approve the plant. We would not get our NPDES permit.
It just seems, totally out of line there. Also, one question I had was that it seems that the county jumped pretty quickly to buy that Peterson property on the corner. It would have been much more effective if he had looked at buying the Frank Wilson's property right adjacent to the creek. He would have avoided at least one lift station and a lot of piping up the hill. Why was that never considered?
We considered a number of different options. The first option we actually considered was on the golf course directly across from Henning Drive.
Okay.
We still would have been required to put in a pump station, because we would have a pump up from the point where the gravity sewer came in up to the top half of the plant in order to pump it into the plant.
I don't know where all the pump stations are, but isn't there one up at the site as well? I mean, there's one down near the creek to get it up the hill. But isn't there another one at the pump station now?
No, there's only one pump station.
So the
One pump
down-
station pumps up to the headworks of the plant.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, Mike Valco, Brookshire resident. According to my notes, on April the 5th, Mr. Dvorak had contacted David Joyce's political team for some money.
Policy team.
Policy team, yeah, okay.
And that's
Is there any
Mr.
word
Cook.
back on that?
At this time, they can't go back on like assessment loan, and they're working on other situations, or searching to help.
They stated that.
And their communication with Jim, Mr. Cooper, from Dave Joyce's office.
But it's being worked on then.
Well, they're looking for money to help this situation.
Okay. Mr. Lennon stated that you were in contact with the state auditor on the application. Any response on that?
I had met personally with the state auditor and explained to the best of my ability the situation that we're involved in. His informal opinion, I think, was in line with what we've been saying here over the last few weeks, is that you cannot use this money to pay for past loans, past that March 3rd, 2021 date. So you know, but he did not have all of the details beyond that. You know, again, that was his informal opinion.
So this was not pertaining to the installation application?
No, I did ask him about that, and he said he was uncertain and that we'd have to do some further research if we can use ARPA funds on people's private properties like that.
Is anybody looking into that
Yes,
right now?
yeah.
You're still looking
I mean,
into that?
that's our goal, is to try and see if we can't attack that from that angle, because to me, that's the initial cost, that's the hard cost. I've talked to a few of the residents and homeowners there. That's money that you have to come up with now, you know. The loan amount is, you know, is spread out over, you know, months on your taxes, but this is the real gut punch, if you ask me, is the 7,000 or more. I mean, I've talked to one fellow who his actual septic system is behind his home, and he's wondering how he's going to get that around his home out to the front to tie that in. You know, so it's an addition. He's already had contractors quote him. It's an addition to, you know, just the norm. So, you know, and I've talked to Jim and some other the homeowners over the past months or so, and to me, that is the most realistic way to approach this thing, from that we can have some direct impact quickly on this without the ARPA funds being used for it.
Somebody also stated they contacted Grundell's office for $3.5 million.
Yeah, she made I believe her office contacted our office and wanted a support letter for a budget request, and I believe the budget request was about 1.5 million. Was it for more or no?
I believe it was for the 3.5.
Oh, it was for the okay.
For the whole assessment.
Okay, so maybe that's correct. Maybe she made a budget request for that entire amount.
Okay.
I've been told, just, you know, I don't want to get anyone's hopes up here, but I've been told that that's a long shot. A lot of times once these projects have already underway, getting funding for them is a problem.
But it is still in process.
Yes, yeah, and we probably wouldn't know till maybe June, I think, is when the state releases their budget findings. So, but you know, fingers crossed. If that would be phenomenal if that came through.
Yeah, one last question. Any more requests for ARPA funds? I asked this at the April 5th meeting too, and it was just a hospital that asked for funds. And I've been asking it right along in the meetings that I attended. I'm wondering who's getting this $9.1 million.
Right.
One is the hospital is getting some.
Yeah, I mean, there's been some
Anybody else?
applications. I believe the airport and a few others have made some applications or requests.
Requests.
Yeah, requests.
United Way,
Yeah.
trying to think of who else. Several 501c3s.
Yeah.
So what is, right now, on the top of your head, it was the hospital and the airport.
The hospital was around $1 million, and the airport,
There was
there
multiple
was
things in there, but I
multiple
don't
things
even know if
within
they
it. I
even
don't know what the
qualify.
total was.
Would that be public record somewhere? The request?
Yeah,
Yeah.
we can get you their letters, whatever they send us.
Can it be posted on the website?
No, it's not
Website,
posted
no?
on the website. You can make a request to the office.
Okay, public records request?
Mhm.
Okay, thank you.
Chuck?
Yeah, real quick, being that our roads are absolutely terrible after the construction, can the ARPA funds be used to repave our roads?
Those roads are township roads. And the township was the one who came in and chip and sealed them, which I
Yeah.
believe is what the issue is.
Well, the issue is not, the road bed is actually collapsing because of the heavy equipment that was on it for over a year,
No.
going in and out.
No, those roads were terrible before the project
My road
started.
was fine.
No, they weren't. We have videos to show them.
I drive up and down it every day. What's your video versus my suspension on my truck? Two different things, but my road was in actually excellent condition for a residential street. So can this money be put towards that if the county, or the township trustees request it?
I believe the township trustees can use all their ARPA money for your roads. Usually when a project like this comes in a township, whether it be logging or gas wells, there's a RUMA agreement, road something maintenance agreement with the townships. And that company, loggers or whatever, they have to put that road back in the condition that it was before they started the project or better.
That didn't happen.
Right. Well, and check with your township trustees to see if they had a RUMA agreement. Road
Well,
maintenance
they
agreement.
didn't contract tracks to come in and dig down the center of all of our roads, which undermined the center. Now we have a and over time, that's going to continue to sink. So the chip and tar was a Band-Aid on a gaping wound. And now our taxes aren't going down, but our livelihood is going down. And now our taxes are going to even go higher to pay off the sewers. Who's going to buy our house? We have terrible roads. We have terrible taxes. There's got to be something. If there's a way to use the ARPA funds to at least repair it back to original.
Is it possible, have you ever gotten requests from the township, regardless of ARPA? Can the township request money from you?
They can. Some verbally have been required. This is what AT&T has been doing, going to each township meetings, and they said that they want all their ARPA fund money for broadband. And then they're telling the township trustees to contact the commissioners for some of our ARPA money
I'm just
to help
asking a
them for
general
that.
question. Can the township request money from the county?
Jerry?
Yeah, I'm not sure. I don't know that that's ever happened.
Okay. So I have one last comment. So if you think, say the ARPA money was available, say the prosecutor came back and said, you know what, you could use the money. If there's 3 votes, would you do something?
Yeah. Sure. I would.
If the ARPA money is not available, which, like, it sounds like, you know, working down this road here, is there a rainy day fund somewhere that has $1.5 million in it, or $2 million in it, that says, yeah, this is a public health emergency, yeah, we didn't want it, we got it, handed to us, and you know what? Here you go. Here you go. And yeah, we're going to take some arrows, we're going to take some bullets from other past assessments, and you might have to reckon with that. And I would say, you know what? If that's the case, then maybe that you can soften that too. I don't know. There's got to be a participation in the process. We didn't ask for any of this. I know we got the sins of 3 or 4 or 5 or 6, and we're sacrificing the whole place.
You're right.
And you guys, I know you're sitting on a ton of cash. I know you are. I know that you are. Listen, I wouldn't make a move either if I didn't know how much was in my checkbook. I wouldn't either. I had no idea. I would be like, hey, Ladada, you got 10 grand? Like, I don't know. If I didn't know it was in my checkbook. And I feel like you guys have appropriations and money tucked all over the place. And it's like, all right, maybe just in case. This is just in case right now. This is rain. It's pouring in our neighborhood. And if you put some money aside, I'm just asking you to consider that going forward. And I hope you're at the special meeting to help do that, please. All right? That's all I'm asking.
Okay.
Thank you, Jim.
One more comment and that's it.
Simple, not a comment, just a simple question. If I sell my property, what happens to the assessment? My intention is to accept the assessment and pay it out over the years. If I sell my property, what happens? Does it just stay with the property and the new property owner
Yeah, the new property owner would be assessed that.
and spread out over the same period?
He'd have the same deal as you.
They absorb the cost.
Jim,
Go ahead.
I don't know what happened in the meeting prior to me coming here. My phone was blowing up, so I wanted to come and just make sure that the record was straight. A couple things. One, my office has not issued a formal opinion on the spending of the ARPA funds to anyone yet, township or the county. I will say that there are a couple of major obstacles with your project, one being the commencement date of your project, and two being that the loan's already been incurred for a direct pay from ARPA funds. There are some obstacles, but the prosecutor's office has not issued an opinion yet. We will very soon, but we have not been able to issue one yet. What we have been doing for the township and the county, step one is getting out these resolutions, taking the standard allowance, revenue loss allowance. We pushed that out to all the townships and the county on Good Friday. The regulations for this just came out April 1st. I know all you folks are impatient. You're impatient with the commissioners, with my office. A lot of this stuff came out April 1st. We didn't even get procurement guidance from the OTA who we've been working with on this until about 12 days ago. So our office sent up, I think either Friday or yesterday, we sent up 3 resolutions for the commissioners. They passed one today. There's 2 other resolutions they need to pass before any money can even be spent out of this. So we're not even at the point where money can be spent. So I just want to let everybody know that that's where we're at in the process. It's just not a quick process. I'm sorry.
Jim, you know, me and you have talked many times about this, and you know, looking for potentially a workaround. Like my kind of goal is to see if we can do something with the tie-ins. You know, if we're hitting this roadblock here, can we do something with the tie-ins? And I know you've been working on trying to, and having your staff look into that possibility. And I also know that there's some other avenues that we can go to get those answers. I don't know, the state auditor offered his services. I don't know how fast that turnaround is. Sometimes that might be like a black hole or not. I don't know, but the auditor himself, you know, initiated that with me, saying that it's available to us. Also, there's other potential outside firms, legal counsel that can, you know, do this. I'm sure your office is getting hit, you know, from all the townships and all, you know, everybody's asking a lot of questions that we don't know the answers to yet, right? Like, this is pretty new to everybody.
Yeah, no, I mean, Ralph, I mean, I'll share, you know, if you're okay with me sharing.
Yeah.
I mean, Ralph called me and was like, hey, you know, other counties are hiring consultants.
Yeah.
You know, is that something we can look into to help with the various issues? And we just don't have, I personally feel, but again, you guys are the policy guys. I mean, I personally don't feel that we have enough money to justify that expense. I mean, you know, $18 million sounds like a lot for the county share, but you know, in the grand scheme of things, I mean, Cleveland Heights is getting, I think, 3 times as much as.
I mean, as long as you're comfortable to continue that, and we get it, you know, because
there's just only so much, so much bandwidth. I mean, the other thing is, you know, we advise all 16 townships, so we went through the same process with them that we went through with you in past these 3 I mean,
understand.
You guys have 3 the micro purchasing, the procurement, and the $10 million resolution. We sent you 3 resolutions. The townships are combining the micro purchasing and the procurement into one. So they're going to pass 2 resolutions. They're all going to do that before the end of the month. But we haven't even gotten the second disbursement yet. And, you know, again, I need a little bit more time to figure out, you know, the roadmap to this. So,
but I mean, just to be clear, you know, the 2 of us, you know, what was said prior to you coming into this meeting, and I think maybe Chuck was the one blowing up your phone again, was that what the gist of our conversation is that this is not going to fit this specific project, that this ARPA funds on this specific, on repaying the loans, and that's what, just so you know, that's what I said to the crowd to this morning.
I mean, again, we have not issued a formal opinion, but I agree with you. There are some major hurdles to a direct pay from ARPA for this project because of the project commencement date and because of the fact that the loan's already been
But
paid.
we're going to try to go a different maybe avenue.
We're exploring all options.
Okay.
For sure.
Very good.
But again, from terms of a legal opinion, until they pass a resolution today electing the 10 million,
you couldn't do anything anyway.
Yeah, I mean, there's like 4 different buckets here we're talking about, right? So that's a major issue. again, you guys took a step today, there's a couple other resolutions you gotta pass before you can even spend any money. So,
Okay,
thank you.
thank you.
Thanks, Jim.
Thanks.
Thanks for coming in. Time for adjournment.
Okay, any other questions? Diane?
Diane Jones, Auburn Township. Okay, Mr. Walter is here, perhaps I could have missed his help, but number 27 on the agenda asked for a change order regarding cabling and systems for ADP. Is there any chance we can have any
You can,
update? or-
if you want to, yeah, if you want to go talk to the auditor, help yourself.
Okay, all
Okay,
right,
all
and
right.
finally,
Mhm.
there's a special meeting tomorrow on the steps of the courthouse. Can you at least identify what that will be about?
It's an executive session for pending litigation.
I'm sorry?
It's an executive session for pending litigation.
Pending litigation. Gotcha, understood. Thank you.
you.
That's the writ of prohibition?
No.
No.
No? Okay, thank you.
No, that actually was, that hearing was canceled.
The original writ of prohibition hearings were canceled.
It's been canceled?
Yes.
Yes, they were canceled. They
So-
were.
Not the writ of prohibition, I'm sorry, but the original hearing that the probate judge was ordering has been canceled.
That has been
Yes,
canceled. That would have been
because of the
tonight.
submission of the writ of prohibition to the court.
Okay, so currently then, there's no further action on that case? Is that correct?
The court issued two judgment entries that said that it was, the hearings were set by clerical error.
Correct. Yes.
So, two different hearings and two completely different cases were set by clerical error. That was the judgment entry we received from the probate court.
So it's, stay tuned.
Yes.
Okay.
Sorry, I misunderstood the email that Susan
Yeah,
sent.
sorry.
I thought it was the appeals
Yeah.
court that canceled those for the,
No,
till they
it
had
was-
made a
it was
decision.
the court.
Um, yeah, okay.
I move we adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
You handed this back to me?
No, he just never made